I saw a clip of one where the people were in Australia and the guy was like, had a megaphone and he was like, all right, everyone, we're going to get this started. Here we go. Wow. Wow. And people were going, wow. And I'm like, whoa, that is like the most uncomfortable feeling.
I got the intro, so I guess we can introduce our guest this week on episode 69 of the Wonder Boys podcast is Andrew Barber. He's a regular performer at the Vancouver Theatre Sports League on Granville Island and has produced over 50 sketches on his YouTube channel, like Boston Greg and Owen Wilson Loves Vancouver. And so every week, whenever we have a guest on Andrew, we always ask them one very simple question. How was your week?
Oh, what day is it?
It is
Saturday. Oh, I think it was pretty good. I have a hard time remembering the last few days. I went up to Whistler and did some skiing, which I do once a year, which is not enough to do skiing. If you're going to do skiing, you should do it like 10 times a year or not at all.
Oh, wow.
So when did you go up?
Just 2 days ago, I was skiing.
Do you ski for 2 days or just one day?
Just one afternoon.
One day for once a year.
Very hard on your body. You spend the whole day learning how to ski again, and then you're completely wiped. Completely wiped. And I also have to take anti-nausea pills and smoke some weed to not feel nauseous on the carts that pull you up there. I don't even know what they're called. They go once a year.
The carts that pull you up there.
The carts that pull you up there, man.
Yes,
Lucas is an avid skier. He goes all the time.
Yeah, I was up there yesterday. That's why I was asking when you were up there.
Yesterday was a good day, wasn't it?
It was an amazing day, yeah.
Sunny and like, what was it all about?
No, it just snowed 25 centimeters.
Oh, wow.
Okay. It was sunny in the afternoon when I got up there. But I too, I've skied quite a few times this season, so I'm not quite maybe as sore. I am sore because I fell a bunch because I was just being an idiot in the soft
deep snow as well.
Yeah, so I'm like, everywhere's a little bit stiff, but yeah. It was a really, really good day. But you went up, I don't think it had snowed in 2 days Wednesday. It was probably snowing on the day, just not as well.
It snowed on Thursday a little bit, and that's when I went. And then Friday was like a great skiing day. I always kind of miss the good skiing days by a day, but that's what happens when you ski once a year.
I went, the last time I went skiing was like 3 years ago, because I usually snowboard, but I took a skiing lesson at Mount Seymour. I went up and I did a whole day. It was like a beautiful day. Did the whole day, learned how to ski, did practice runs when I was done on my own. I was there all day, and then I have not been to a mountain since. So I feel like I'm afraid to go back now because I'm going to wake up the next morning not able to move. I'll be bedridden like an old man. Yeah. And I'm not into that idea.
It's not really my thing. Even at my best when I was skiing and I could do it pretty well, I was like, yeah, this is kind of fun. It's a lot of money, and you're like driving all the way up there just to do it. It's just not for me personally. I just bought a whole bunch of hockey gear to play ice hockey as a goalie.
Oh, wow. That is a lot of gear.
Yeah. I think it's about $1,800, and I bought some of the pads used. It was
$1,800 with used pads.
With used pads.
Yeah, the actual pads that go on your legs, they're new. They're like $1,000 or so. You can pay lots. I got those for $200. Everything else I kind of got new, but it's expensive. But
have you been playing goalie like regularly, or are you just picking it up again?
No, I've never played ice hockey.
Really? Got me.
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
Wait, seriously?
No, I've never played ice hockey. That's the intention behind it. I want to play ice hockey.
Cool.
It was an all or nothing scenario. I'm playing ball hockey right now. Just bought my first pair of skates. I can skate a little bit, but I'm really going to dive in.
Wow.
Sweet.
That's actually, like, I can't skate because Lucas and I, we're not originally Canadian. We were from South Africa. We moved here in 2005. He was 14, is that right? And I was 11. So, like, we didn't grow up playing hockey. And when we got here, we didn't understand it, so we didn't take the time out to learn how to skate or how to play or anything. We were just like, what is this strange sport that everyone... Like, we played the video games, but playing just didn't seem... It seemed so alien to us, so we never learned how... And I still can't skate worth shit. I can skate in a straight line and, like, barely turn. But that's it.
I turned once, and then I fell into the board. So yeah, that's
about where I'm at. You guys could play goalie.
Yeah, it's not a lot of movement. You stay in one place, and you just try and get in the way of things.
They also say that the best skater on the team is the goalie. Like if you have a good goalie.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it's going to be
So you just don't
difficult.
tell the other teams how bad of a skater you are.
I haven't played yet.
Oh, you're just at all.
No, I'm waiting to play ball. I've been playing ball hockey.
Yeah,
I've done that once. But I used to throw a bouncy ball against the wall when I was a kid and catch it in my hat. So
You're pretty good.
yeah, I spent a lot of time doing that.
Wow.
So it's kind of built in there. I'm hoping to bring it out.
One
next
could say
step,
you're
the
natural.
AHL and NHL
We're
after
going to go
that.
NHL straight to the pros.
Yeah.
Can I just turn these down just a little bit?
Oh, yeah. We can even turn them off if you want.
I kind of like them on, but just down as loud.
You don't like hearing your own voice? I love hearing
I have
my
very
own
sensitive
voice.
ears. I used to play in a band for like 10 years,
Okay.
and I never used hearing protection.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I can hear things I don't have any problem hearing things. I hear things but high pitches are really bad. Like if an ambulance goes by, it's like a nightmare.
Right. There's a condition that's
not tinnitus, is it?
No, it's not tinnitus. That's
No.
like a constant thing. But
It's a constant ringing.
Yeah.
No, I just have more sensitive ears.
Mm-hmm.
Which you'd think I'd have less sensitive.
I was going to
ears.
say,
yeah,
being
I
in a
thought
band.
it would be dulled in some way, but I guess not.
I think if you lose some of the bass of your hearing, maybe you probably pick up more treble.
Oh, you overcompensate, basically?
I think so, and it's not pleasant.
Damn. So you said you play in a band. Like, what'd you play?
I played rhythm guitar and I sang
Nice.
all through like most of high school, and then out of high school, and then we recorded an album with one band that I was with for like a few years, and we played shows in Vancouver, and then we just stopped.
That was the end.
Yeah, and then I started acting, which was it was better that I do that.
Another creative outlet, but just in a different...
Well, I didn't
Different
really
way.
have a promising future in being in a rock band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a lot of rhythm guitar / vocalist positions available on Indeed.com.
Yeah, no, there's not a whole lot of paying gigs in that world unless maybe you're really good at it and you do it for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How did you first get into acting? Did you do it during high school?
I did do acting in high school, but I slacked off a lot and I smoked a lot of weed, and I kind of half did it and had fun, and then high school was over, and I did do the lead in my last musical in grade 12.
Nice.
Hair.
You were the lead in Hair.
I played Claude in Hair.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
What, and you went to STSS. You told me that was off mic, though, but you went to STSS in Tawasin.
That's right, man.
We're actually, we're Ladner boys, so I guess we're kind of rivals in a way.
Oh, wow. This is getting awkward.
Sorry, SDSS.
Ladner smells. Ladner smells.
Yeah.
You guys have heard that one. I used to live in
Yeah.
Ladner too, though.
Yeah,
You used to work at the ABC restaurant there, didn't you? You worked there for a little bit.
I'm almost certain you served us there.
Yeah, almost certain.
Almost
you did.
certain.
Yeah.
You look too familiar.
That's 100% true.
Oh my god! Because
Yeah.
there was one time where we watched one of your videos years after you'd served us. And I'm like, hey, I recognize
I know
that
this guy from somewhere.
And it was definitely the ABC.
I can't believe you remembered that.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
Well, it's because we watched this video. I don't remember which one it was. It was one of those ones like where you do on your MacBook with like this weird
Stretchy face.
stretchy
Yeah,
face, like
squishes your
the
face.
Funhouse mirror situation.
Right.
And then there was another one where it kind of jumped back to your regular face. It wasn't the stretchy face, and I was like, that face. There's something I've
I know
seen
this
him
guy from
before.
somewhere. Yeah.
I've seen him before. And we would go to the ABC a lot because we would go with our parents. It's like one of those places you go with your parents. And it's closed now, by the way.
It is. I know.
gone.
Thank God.
No one else has to suffer.
Yeah.
But we would go there, and we saw you, and then we're like, hey, well, this guy looks
That's the
familiar.
guy.
This guy looks really familiar.
This guy's YouTube famous. I know this guy.
Yeah. We were talking about your YouTube channel.
yeah, let's
You've
talk
had
about,
a lot of success. In some, like, for example, the biggest success I had noticed was your Boston Greg video, the one with the Stanley Cup Finals 2011.
Yeah.
You pretended to be a Boston fan, and it even got media attention. Is that right? Like, were people actually?
Yeah, around that time there was like newspapers, and I actually did a segment on what's that sports channel?
Sportsnet.
Yeah, that's the one.
Sure.
Did something
Not
on
TSN. Sportsnet. TSN. One of those.
Sportsnet.
It's one of those two.
And radio interviews and stuff like that. It was an exciting time, but it was also really exciting because the Canucks were
Yeah,
in
they were.
the playoffs.
Yeah. You're a
That's
big
what I
fan
mean, it
then?
was
You've
like-
been a fan your whole life? Or
Yeah, I had been watching since I was about 9 when they first went to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah.
And that was heartbreaking as a 9-year-old, and then we just relived it again. And then and then they lost in 2012 to LA, and I was like, I'm just done. I can't do this anymore.
So you just checked out?
Yeah, I haven't watched hockey since, really.
Really?
But now I'm going to watch it a little bit because I want to play goalie.
You got to learn to pick up a few tips.
That's
maybe.
different, though. That's not like watching the pros. Like, you probably go on YouTube and watch how to be a goalie video.
I'm going to.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's in the future.
Yeah.
Another, one of my favorites got to be Owen Wilson Loves Vancouver. And I think a lot of people know that. I brought it up to a couple of friends of mine, and they've seen it too, which is kind of cool because you can ask people, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I think I've seen that video." Did you just have an Owen Wilson impression, and then you did the video, or did you do the video because you thought maybe it'd be funny?
I think I heard that they were remaking In Living Color. I think that's the one.
Yeah.
And they were putting out a call for auditions, and you had to have 2 impressions and 3 original characters.
Okay.
And I was racking my brain on who to think of doing, and it just kind of came to me one day in my kitchen. I just said, "Wow," and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of similar to how Owen Wilson says it, I guess." And it turns out, so I recorded the impression and everything, and then I finally made that video like a year later.
Yeah.
Because I sent in my audition, and then a year later I made the video. And then this guy online who really loves Owen Wilson, he has his own Owen Wilson YouTube channel called O Energy.
Go on.
And he made a cut to video that's like far more popular than mine, of course, of Owen Wilson saying "wow" in every movie or something. And he says it like hundreds of times. And that video has like over 10 million views. So that guy messaged me and was like, "Hey, thanks for making that video, because then I realized Owen Wilson says wow, and so I made this cut to video." And then it got, millions and millions of views on that. And then now the world realizes that he says wow a lot, and they in some places they meet up and say wow in groups so awkwardly.
Well, I mean, the other one that they do awkwardly about that, is yell like a Super Saiyan. They did that in a couple places. They did one in Vancouver. It was like power up like Goku. So it's a bunch of people went
just
to
scream.
Yeah, so a bunch of people went. It was called Scream Like Goku, and a bunch of people went to the Olympic Plaza in downtown Jackpot Plaza there, and went and stood around the Olympic torches and just screamed like Goku. They did it in Seattle, in Portland. There was one in Sydney, in Australia as well. And then, this after that was like people just going, wow, like Owen Wilson at a bunch of different cities.
There was actually, I lived in Regina for a year, and there's a couple people I have friends on Facebook, and they invited me to this event where there's this big hole in the middle of the city where they're supposed to develop some condos or something. And it's been there for like 4.5 years, 5 years. And they've invited people to just go to this hole on a certain day and say, wow, like Owen Wilson at this hole, because they're sick of it being there.
Where is this?
It's in Regina, Saskatchewan.
Oh, wow.
The jewel of the West.
That is wow.
It is wow.
I saw a clip of one where the people were in Australia, and the guy was like, had a megaphone, and he was like, "All right, everyone, we're going to get this started. Here we go. Wow. Wow." And people were going, wow. And I'm like, whoa, that is like the most uncomfortable feeling.
Oh my God.
I love that a person with a megaphone had to get it started.
We had to organize it. We had to get zoning from the city, or like permission from the city, to pull this all together.
That's brilliant.
We have a lot of things that piss us off.
Yes, we do. And we do, when we talk about, we generally call it the rage cage.
We call it the rage cage.
Yeah. So.
I'll start off because this is something I missed last week. We were setting up the podcast right here in this room, and this little kitchen counter thing that sticks out here kind of juts out right underneath the power outlet, or right over the power outlet, rather. And I was plugging stuff in. I stood up, I hit my head, and I kind of went from 0 to 60, full-blown anger. I was calm before that moment. But it's kind of like when you stub your toe, and you're a rational person, you just turn into a rage monster. I was about to yell at Lucas when he came back around the corner. I was like, what the fuck do you want, man? Just because I bonked my head on the corner of this thing here. It's ridiculous.
I've done that several times. I'd use my elbow, where I've banged my elbow opening a door, going through a doorway or something, and just been, uncontrollably angry just because it was my own. It was nobody else's fault. It was just my fault, and I'm just sitting there seething my own little pit of depression. Andrew, is there anything that makes you uncontrollably angry?
Uncontrollably angry.
Oh, there's a lot of things that make me really angry.
Let's hear it.
I'd have to think for a second.
Okay.
And you're probably going to want to edit this part out, but oh man, there's so many small things, but when you try and think of them, it's like none of them really matter.
That's what it's all about. We bring up these small things like bonking your head or stubbing your toe.
And then hopefully somebody can relate. Hopefully. While Andrew's thinking here, I'll bring up mine. It's a newer trend that I've seen come up on social media a lot, where women in particular, I'm not saying men don't do it, but I just haven't seen men do this, but they'll post something on their Instagram story or their Snapchat story or their Facebook feed or something on their own personal feed that wishes a friend of theirs happy birthday. So it's like this attention-seeking move that they post something like, hey,
don't forget about me,
and but also just don't forget about my little friend a little bit.
Oh my god, happy birthday. Yeah, you can just text someone, you can just call them and say happy birthday, or you can just go see them on their birthday.
I'm a fan of calling people on their birthday. Why can't we call each other?
Yeah.
If it really matters. If it doesn't matter, I don't need somebody that I barely know to say happy birthday or HBD.
HBD
on my wall. It's so touching. HBD.
Thank you for the thoughts.
I'll put that in my little nook of things I'll think about when I get sad.
Yeah.
I'll remember that one girl who HBD'd me, and then I'll feel better.
Also, the Snapchat story, that really warmed my heart when you Snapchatted my happy birthday message.
And that I can never look at ever again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
So that drives me absolutely bananas because I honestly don't see the point. What I actually thought about doing now, I think I'm going to do this on the Wonder Boys podcast Twitter account or Instagram account, is find famous people's birthday and just start wishing them happy birthday every day. Like, here's my ride or die, Albert Einstein. Hope you have a good one, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
this is the one guy I care about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't understand it. I mean, it's a great gesture, but like you said, Andrew, why don't you just call him up?
It's like thoughts and prayers, right?
Doesn't matter really. Yeah, thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers and Facebook, they just go hand in hand. I think something that comes to mind was I was driving home from Whistler on the Sea to Sky yesterday, and someone was in the left lane driving really slowly.
Oh,
it made me just so unreasonably angry. And I had to go into the right lane, get around him, go back into the left lane. And then I try and just calm myself because, like, none of that really matters. I'm creating this guy to be like a monster. And then I think, well, what if this guy was like just the nicest guy in the world and he like donated money to charity? He's just like a really great person. I'm like, okay. Yeah. All right. Not such a big deal that he's in the left lane. At the time, incredibly angry.
Yeah. I've heard a story, like, this was a few years ago. It was a long time ago. It was like this guy driving up to Whistler on the Sea to Sky Highway, and he sees a car broken down with a flat tire or whatever. So he pulls over, he helps these people change his tire or fix the car or whatever. And turns out the guy he's helping is Bill Gates. Probably not true. Then Bill Gates says to him, hey, man, what's your name? Oh, my name's Tim. Tim whatever. And he's like, oh, nice to meet you, Tim whatever. That's cool, thank you so much. Goes on his way. Next day he gets home, gets a call from the bank to say, like, hey, your mortgage has been paid off by an anonymous donor.
I heard about that. We got to follow around Bill Gates, throw some nails down in front of his car, pull up behind him, help him out 3 times a day. We're bound to get something.
I mean, the guy's got
paid
billions.
Off for sure.
The guy's got billions. He doesn't need them. He doesn't need that money.
Well, he gives a lot of it away to charity anyway, and that's a good. Speaking of Bill Gates, so Bill Gates is actually in favor of GMOs. So do you know what GMOs are, Andrew? Genetically modified organisms in our food. So
orgasms?
Yes, genetically modified orgasms.
I want some of that. Thank you very much.
You should play that back and see if I got it wrong, because I'm pretty sure I did.
It was orgasms. Or at least that's what I heard.
Great. Okay, genetically modified.
I'm for both.
Really?
Sex robots will be the next topic we'll jump into. But yeah, because you see that a lot now where you go to Whole Foods or one of these healthy food stores, and they're like, "Oh, it's GMO free or GMO totally organic," and so on. But the purpose behind GMOs and genetically modified organisms is so that food can survive in unsurvivable conditions. For instance, having wheat that can grow anywhere in the world, regardless of temperature, would be amazing, because then no one would essentially, in quotes, be starving, because they would always be able to grow wheat.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of because there are some bad GMOs that are causing real plants to die off, or strains of plants to die off, which, and you have the Monsanto problem, which is them controlling a specific seed and having a monopoly on a specific seed, which is not good for the industry either. Yeah. So that news getting mixed in with regular GMOs is not so bueno. But Bill Gates is for GMOs, and he put a statement out a few weeks ago saying so. And there was a lot of news. Not a lot of news this week. Has been an
Is it uproar? Are people pissed at him or what?
No, they weren't pissed at him, but there was a lot of at least the Reddit comments. It's Reddit, right? So you have 50-50. Yeah, you have 50-50 split. People defending Reddit, Bill Gates, and 50-50 trying to burn him at the stake. So, I'm for GMOs. Maybe not the Monsanto dirty bastard version, but
those guys are crazy.
If I could have a turnip that's the size of my head, and
feed your whole family with one turnip, man.
Exactly. I don't think I've ever had a turnip.
Me neither.
Mm-hmm. The only other argument I've heard against it is like, maybe it'll give you cancer or this or that, and like we walk around in cities with burning fuel around us all the time, breathing it in, and like we're worried about GMOs. I'm not worried about it. I think that it's a great. I think that we're going to need it.
Yeah, I agree.
The Earth is kind of falling apart.
Yeah.
As well as what I'm excited about is lab-grown meat.
That is so fucking cool.
Let's go all the way with that.
Yeah,
100%.
Give me 10 pounds of beef for $1.
That's fantastic. And they can grow it in a couple weeks, or however long it takes.
Something like that. But it'll just be constant cycle. It'll just be like however much they want to produce, it will just be produced. And then it also is like way, way better on the environment, because as you know, cows fart a lot, and it contributes to a lot of the methane gas that ruins the ozone layer.
Yeah. It's kind of funny in its own way, but it would be cool if we could have less farting cows.
100%. And the thing is, with having less farting cows, you need less pastures to house those cows. You can use that area for other things.
Other farming.
You could grow turnips. We can get those turnips on the farm.
Well, just the amount of water too that goes
100%.
through a farm.
Yeah.
Especially
it's insane. The water consumption is unbelievable for farms. I know someone who is a vegetarian purely because of how much water meat processing plants use. And that's the reason for being vegetarian.
Yeah, I laughed at that too. I thought it was pretty funny.
It is. That's the reason. That's and I was thinking it makes sense. And then there's a lot of people who are like, obviously the cruelty to animals, the way they treat them, the way they house them. But do you think people would come back from being vegetarian or vegan if the meat was synthetic, like if it was man-made?
I think people would. I think a lot of vegetarians, obviously I don't have any statistics on this is literally my own personal opinion, is that people don't like the cruelty to animals. So if there was no animal involved to begin with, maybe just the stem cells from one cow 70 years ago, we had to copy a bunch to make beef proteins. Sweet. I'm sure that one stem cell that we took from the spine of an animal 70 years ago, great. I don't think a lot of vegetarians would probably end up eating meat again if it was lab grown, for sure.
And then maybe Barbara Streisand can clone her dogs again.
She did that?
Apparently.
What?
Apparently, she's not. She's trying to. She's trying to clone her dogs or some shit.
Why would she keep them to herself? Give a little something for us, Barbara.
Yeah.
I want to taste those pups.
That's not where I thought you were going with that. I just thought maybe there was a business in it.
I thought there was maybe I want to just hang out with your dog for the weekend.
They must be good. She's making them twice.
I'm never going to look at Barbara Streisand the same way again.
Or dogs. Yesterday was International Puppy Day. Did you know that?
No.
Do you know how I knew that? Fucking Instagram.
Everybody's posting about their puppy. I have a cat. And no one cares. There's no International Cat Day.
Yeah.
There's no... Even if you post cats, I'll have people like, I hate cats. And you're like, why?
Or they're
Like,
evil
sure,
creatures.
they're plotting to kill you at every moment, but
Yeah, at least they're thinking about it.
They're
Dogs
kinda
will
cool.
get to the moment and they'll be like, I'm killing you! No, I'm killing you now! They'll just lose it instantly, whereas cats will be like,
yeah, they'll
now's
plot
the
it.
time.
They'll think about it. And also they clean up their poop, which is like the best part.
Well, cleanup's a strong word. They just cover it up with other crap. But one of the other things of the Rage Cage we wanted to bring up, and I know this makes Andrew a little bit angry, was the Fedora Instagram ad with the noodle burger, the ramen noodle instead of the buns burger. I just thought that I keep getting that ad on my Instagram feed. I don't know how I triggered it. I don't know what Instagram's algorithm is to find out what that I need to know about Fedora nasty ass noodle burgers, but I keep getting that one all the time.
Yeah, I got that all the time too. What was funny for us was we were working on a TELUS Story Hive project that I'm currently working on still called Michelle's. And in the script, we talked about a Shanghai noodle burger before I ever saw the ad. And then the ad started coming up on my Instagram, this ramen noodle burger. And I was like, oh my God, has this come up just because we were talking about something like this? And then it just never went away. It's been like on there for months, just trying to advertise to me. And then I raged about it on Instagram, and then since then I haven't seen it.
Do you have any?
Facebook's been in a lot of shit for that, and haven't they? Like, they would listen to your conversations, cater your advertising to you, and then they sell your information to people?
That's right.
Isn't that what's going on right now with Zuckerberg and the whole situation?
I mean, that's not 100%. I mean, what? Yeah. So what they've been accused of in the past is what Andrew's talking about, is that they listen to your conversation and feed you ads based on conversations, not even written down text, like what you've had in a
Because they have
room.
access to your microphone on your phone, or
I'm trying to think about how to phrase this story. Never mind, just keep going.
You can do it. I mean, there's no holds barred here. You can just let it rip.
yeah, you just go for it.
No, it's okay. I'm just trying to think of something. I'm trying to remember something.
Okay. So that's one part of it. Sorry, I'll stop chewing, Tim.
Oh yeah, I got this thing where if people are chewing close to me, like close to my ears, like with these microphones and the headphones, I can't handle it. That's another rage for me.
Drives them
I'll
absolutely
fly
nuts.
off the cuff. I don't give a crap.
You see Vasily getting agitated.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so my
Right.
girlfriend brought over this light switch for me as a gift, and it's like this old school light switch. You put it over top of your lights. It's, super random, and it's made of wood, and it's got like cranks on it. It's all just kind of this joke thing. So it makes your light switches into like these giant cranks that you pull. And she just found it somewhere online randomly. It got shipped from the United States. And then she brought it over to my house, and I opened it up and was like, oh, cool. It was like one of a few gifts that she gave me. And I put it on the wall, and we were talking about it. Never looked it up. She never sent me anything about it. And then instantly, it was on my Reddit app ads for, again, like 2 months or something, 3 months. And it was the only ad that would come up, the exact light switch that she brought over.
That's nuts.
Unsettling.
Unsettling, and the worst thing is that these companies will deny that they're doing it. They're like, no, we don't do that. We don't listen to you. It's all based on what you've searched on Google or what you've looked up on while you've had the Facebook app open on your computer or whatever. And it's like there are multiple instances where people have brought examples like that, where you're looking for a niche item, a light switch with a big handle, and yeah, it just pops up in your ads all of a sudden. You're like, serious.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of conspiracy theory with these freaking these advertisers.
I even have it like, I get it if I'm browsing like Amazon or something, and they're going to start suggesting stuff in my Google ads or whatever. Like, oh, you were looking at this pair of shoes? Well, here it is for 3 months, or here's the only thing you're ever going to see for the rest of your life. I get that, but like the fact that I'm talking about it and it's picking it up in my pocket, like how strong is that microphone, man? And how good is that software?
That algorithms figure that out.
Freaking Big Brother, dude.
Yeah. One of the other things, so we can jump a little bit into some of the news. Yeah, we've already talked about the Facebook's in absolute, not Facebook's themselves, but they're in some trouble this week with Cambridge Analytica, which is another firm that actually analyzes the data that Facebook collects, and then they used it actually to help Trump win the election in 2016. They've also used it for other nefarious causes. I don't know if nefarious is the right word to use there, but so they're in a bunch of trap for that. But one piece of news, and you, Andrew, you go on Reddit. That's great. Tim, I know you for sure go on Reddit, which is amazing. Do you guys follow the Black Twitter subreddit?
Black people Twitter?
Black people Twitter.
I do follow that, yep.
Yeah. They come up with some amazing stuff. It's just basically tweets from people that are related towards black people's culture. I don't know how else to phrase that without sounding very racist, but but one of my favorite ones from the last little while was so the U.S. Department of Justice posted a picture of the Hercules bomber, which is a massive airliner that shoots. It has massive guns on the side of it. I'm sure it can drop huge payloads and
like Call of Duty style.
It's Call of Duty. Yeah, it's the massive plane. You guys can have a look at it. It's that one right there. At the bottom. It's a big plane.
What the hell?
And so they posted a tweet that said, Hercules, you don't want to be on the receiving end of this gunship, aka the Angel of Death. And this gentleman tweeted back saying, y'all bragging about y'all little murder plane like it's going to take down Megatron or something. Y'all just going to bully some random hospital full of brown kids and call it a day.
Ooh.
And so it's...
Dude.
I laughed at it, probably very inappropriately. But
he makes a good point, though.
Yeah,
like they're killing civilians all the time, and they're kind of proud of it in a way, and you're like,
okay, well, that's a bit offside.
There's a white people Twitter one, too, and it's pretty funny, because it's white people complaining about problems that aren't really problems. And that's, I'd have to look one up. But go on without me.
Go ahead. And then I read this week, there was a news article from the North Delta Reporter. The news article read, the headline reads, Sea Lion with Rope Wrapped Around Neck Saved by Vancouver Aquarium. So that's pretty cool. I was like, wow, that's really great. I'm really stoked that they saved that lion, that sea lion. But I read it completely wrong. Like when I first took a glance at the headline, I read... Sex lion with rope wrapped around neck saved by Vancouver Aquarium. That makes the whole headline totally different.
Sex lion.
Yeah, there was a sex lion that got saved somehow by an aquarium. I don't know why the aquarium was involved. Why did it have a rope around its neck? I don't know. Maybe it went to see the new 50 Shades of Grey movie. It was getting a little frisky. But yeah, I just thought it was really funny. It was like, that's I was like, whoa. Okay, that's something I was expecting to read in the headlines of the news this week.
You got like a little bit excited.
Oh, a little
Until
bit.
You read it again 3 seconds later, I guess.
Obviously, yeah. 3 seconds later, I wasn't having sex with a lion.
But those 3 seconds felt like a lifetime. Dreaming about that sex lion.
Oh, sex lion. Okay, here's one.
All right.
Okay, so my family is definitely racist. Started dating an Asian girl recently and decided to bring her home to meet my family. The kids wouldn't even speak to her, and my wife told me to pack my shit and leave. This is the kind of stuff on white people Twitter, where it's like black people Twitter, philosophical stuff about a Hercules bomber killing Iraqi civilians. White people, it's about dating my Asian girlfriend.
But the thing is, there he has a wife and kids as well.
Yeah. No, the joke was there.
I don't know. Our listeners are pretty stupid, Tim. We gotta work it. And if I'm listening to the podcast, I'm pretty dumb.
We talked about it a little bit at the beginning. We talked about the acting a little bit and improv and stuff. But I want to ask you a little bit more about what you're doing right now with acting and with improv. You mentioned TELUS Story Hive. Am I saying that right? Mm-hmm. Story Hive. Maybe explain what that's all about.
So TELUS Story Hive is a program through TELUS, and they fund local filmmakers. And you'll get, if you apply and you win, they give away about 15 different grants for $10,000 each. Wow. And then there's 15 in Alberta as well. So we won one of the 15 in BC, and we got $10,000, and we made a web series pilot for about 10 minutes long called Michelle's, and it's a Canadian soap opera.
Nice.
And it's mostly female-led, and working on it with Angela Gallinopoulos, who also plays Michelle. We've co-written it, co-produced it with some other people. And so then the winners of the 15 get $50,000 to make the rest of your web series. So we won recently. It was like 2 weeks ago. And we got $50,000. So we're going to make 5 more episodes.
Nice.
Sick.
Yeah. So it's, it's going to be a whole lot of work. The one episode was a lot of work. Myself personally am co-writing, directing, editing, acting. But the editing part is like a lot of stuff. It's working with somebody on the score and working with somebody who's doing color and then editing everything after that. And the post-production side just takes months. And that was on one episode. So now we have to do 5.
Yeah.
And they're going to be a little bit shorter, but it's going to be a lot of work. And we anticipate it being done about a year from now.
Yeah.
And then how are you going to release it?
Well, TELUS releases it online on their YouTube channel. It also comes out on video on demand on TELUS. But we will also be putting it on our own YouTube channel. And on there you can kind of, you can make longer cuts and you can kind of maybe get away with more stuff.
Yeah.
And then I guess we're going to try and just like put it into some web series festivals and stuff like that. There's like those kind of festivals in New York and LA and Toronto and all over the place, Vancouver.
Wow. That's wild. So did you come up with the idea yourself, or was it you and your partner together, or maybe her idea?
Yeah, me and Angela really came up with it together. It really just started like she's also a member of Vancouver Theatre Sports League. Yeah. So we've done improv together for a few years now, 4 or 5 years together at Theatre Sports. And we really built the idea sort of using improv, just joking around. One night, the whole thing came from one idea because we went to New York one time and they were serving champagne in the women's washroom in this restaurant.
What? Wait, no, don't glance over that.
There's restaurants in New York where you go in the front and it looks like a pawn shop.
Oh, wow.
But everything in there, it's like a very clean and tidy pawn shop. And it's like, what is this place? And then there's a back door that leads into like a very expensive restaurant.
What?
New York is much cooler than any other city in the world.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Wild.
Okay.
Or definitely cooler than this city. But you go back there and then, there's like $15 glasses of... You get like a rum and coke for $15 or something. But she went to the bathroom and got a free glass of champagne. And so one night we were just hanging out at her house and we were like... just drinking and stuff, and she was like, we serve champagne in the women's washroom. And the whole idea just grew from there as like the idea of this like sort of 80s sexy kind of scandalous woman's restaurant. Her name is Michelle.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like a late night dining situation. And so our story takes place in Hope, BC. Secluded, surrounded by the mountains in this small town, and drama ensues when Hank, the villain of the story, and from her past, comes back and opens another restaurant called the Flavor Junction, where he serves a Shanghai noodle burger. So he's come back to ruin her life and dethrone her from the late night dining scene. And, the first episode is up on YouTube. You could look up Michelle's A Canadian Soap Opera. So it's first and foremost a soap opera. Yeah. Because we focus on the drama and the story first. Secondly, it's a Canadian because we kind of put that spin on it because it's fast-paced. It's absurd. It's comedy.
Oh, so it is comedy then. I was like, when you said soap opera, drama.
Dramatic.
I'm like, oh, no, but you made it sound hilarious.
Yes, it's absolutely absurd. And that is also the whole point of it. So it's very, it's both. It's first and foremost grounded absurdity.
Well, it depends. If you watch soap operas like Days of Our Lives or what's the other one? The Young
and the Restless.
Young and the Restless, yeah. If you watch them a certain way, they can be comedies.
Absolutely. Yeah. I watched it as a kid with my sisters. We'd watch it in my grandma's house, I think people of my generation, a lot of people grew up watching those soap operas. Mm-hmm. and they just moved so slowly.
Oh.
That was the only downfall. It was so frustrating. You watch for an hour and nothing would happen, but it was still so dramatic.
Yeah.
So we wanted to recreate that feeling, but and even sort of give it an 80s flair, which it has, but move it very, very quickly.
Nice. So search Michelle's Canadian soap opera on YouTube. You'll find the first episode, and then more to come in the future. One thing I heard in there, the Champagne bathroom in New York City. New York City's a cool city. I've heard a lot of people call Vancouver a no-fun city when they come from out of town. Especially there's a guy who's on Riverdale, one of the lead actors on Riverdale, says he hates Vancouver or something like that. What do you
I don't
think?
blame him.
What do you think?
I wouldn't blame him. Vancouver's really beautiful, but I think there's a lot of different perspectives on Vancouver. You know, it depends who you are. Like, you know, are you a millionaire living in Vancouver? You're probably having a pretty good time. You probably own a home and you're doing fine. There's a lot of other people, even middle income people who can barely afford rent. And then you want to go to a restaurant after 10 o'clock. Good luck.
Yeah.
You could go to a club with like a bunch of like 20-somethings on Granville Street on Friday or Saturday. That's about it. I don't want to do that. That sucks. Those places literally smell bad. And there's not much else fun to do. But it depends what your version of fun is. There is a lot of comedy in Vancouver, a lot of live comedy, and really good comedians here. So there is that.
Yeah.
And I perform at Vancouver Theatre Sports, and we do shows all the time, and that's a really fun place to go. But, no fun. I think that a lot of other places have a lot more stuff going on.
Yeah. I think Vancouver especially, there's a lot of people who are very much into outdoor activities, which, unless you're a skier or a snowboarder, in the winter is not much to do. And then in the summer, people are like, let's go hiking. But everyone's going hiking on the same trails, and it's just as crowded as the city sometimes. So you feel like you're kind of like, what do I do? Do I go to a restaurant after 10? No, I can't. There's no opportunity. Do I go to a club with the 20-somethings? No, because I don't. Like, I'm 23, but I don't like clubs.
Right.
I don't
They're
like
awful
going.
places.
They're terrible.
They're very loud, too.
Oh, yeah. And you are not a fan of loud noises?
You don't like
No, I'm not.
It's funny you say, you said no dinner after 10. That was one thing for sure. It's definitely different about Vancouver. Is if you wanted to go, let's say with a client or something who's visiting out of town, well, you say we'll go for drinks or what have you. We'll go for dinner. Okay, we'll go for dinner at 6. The client will always, I've had clients say, why are we going at 6 o'clock? Why so early? Well, if we don't go at 6, we won't go. Like, it's just
there's
things.
nowhere.
Yeah, places you can go to. Well, you can go to your Cactus Clubs and your Earls after 10 o'clock, but they're designed to catch that market share of people who literally have nothing else to go to.
Plus, then you're going to get the same thing. It's like, do you want fish tacos or do you want the burger of the day?
Yeah, that food sucks. There is a lot of good food in Vancouver.
There is.
But
absolutely.
late night, I've had some trouble.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you got to go for the lunch to 6 p.m. rush at some of these nice, cool restaurants on Denman Street or whatever. But that's it. Like, there's no other option. Really. One thing I did last night was I went to St. Augustine's. Do you know the bar near Commercial Broadway?
Yeah.
We were sitting at the bar, and we didn't notice because we were facing the bar, so we're watching all the bartenders work and all the servers come in and stuff. And then after about an hour, I turned around and looked around the restaurant or the bar and just kind of looked at the clientele in there, and I didn't realize until that moment, every single person in there was white. All of us were Caucasian people, and the only say colored folk or multicultural folk was this one girl who was serving us Asami, I think her name was, Japanese, and then there was another brown girl who was also working there. So all the customers at St. Augustine's were white, and then most of the service staff was white, and I was like, this is so strange for a city like Vancouver. I felt a little bit weirded out because I was like, what is going on here? Is that just an East Van thing, or am I just losing my mind?
Well, I don't know. You tell me, Bart. You've been living here longer than.
I have no idea. I mean, there is a lot of white people in here, and
in this room specifically, yes, there is a lot of white
right.
people.
I think on average, you're going to just get an average amount of people together. Sometimes everyone will be white. Sometimes everyone will be Asian.
It was a strange thing that I was like, I don't think I've seen this in a while.
I think it's more interesting that you noted it and that you felt uncomfortable.
Yeah, because white people are shitty, man. White people suck.
I don't disagree. I think as a whole, there's a lot of white terrorists and just shitty white people, shitty, dumb white people.
We all know what happens when a bunch of white people get together. Nothing good. Either we invade somewhere, we oppress someone, or something bad's about to happen. So, I don't
blame you.
It was a little bit off put. But if...
I'll tell one story there.
Yeah.
I used to live in Victoria. I went to school at UVic. And in Victoria, the mix of people isn't as broad as it is here in Vancouver. There is still Asian and Filipino, and there's a lot more African people that live there, black people that live there. It's a very good mix, but in general, it's majority white. So I was on a bus once, and I've been telling this story a lot recently, where I was riding the bus, and it was a mix of people. And then as the bus ride, I was riding it for quite a long time. As the bus kept going, I slowly became the only white person on the bus. But it wasn't like a mix of other cultures it was purely Asian people of Asian descent that were on the bus with me. And it was crazy to note this in Victoria, where the majority of the people are white. And I'm sitting there and I was like, which bus? What have I done wrong here? And I started questioning which bus I was on. Like, was I going to...
You were in the right place?
Was I going to the right place? Was I still in Victoria? Because... Yeah, in general, yeah. If you ride the bus here or you ride the SkyTrain or whatever, there's a high chance there's going to be a lot of Asian people. Yeah. But in Victoria, it's not that like that very much at all. So it's crazy that Tim brought that up, that he noticed it was all white people. And I was sitting there on the bus and I was like, "What have I done wrong here?
Yeah,
where am I going? That this doesn't make sense." So, but yeah, that was my contribution to our white talk,
awkward white racial talk.
Andrew, I wanted to ask you, so you're talking about, you remembered your time with coming up with Michelle's, and has there ever been an improv set that you've done or a sketch that you've done, that one that's been your favorite, or two that's branched off into a longer story that you've made into more like a YouTube video or something like that?
No, not really. I never really find ideas for video sketches from improv. I don't really know why that is, but it just hasn't worked out that way. I usually get an idea for something in a video, and it's very specific, and it's just something I want to see in a video, and improv is just different. As far as like a favorite improv scene, I truly forget all of them almost immediately when they're done. Sometimes if someone brings one up, I can kind of remember it if it was like a week ago or something. Mm-hmm. But I think my favorite moments are just when my friends make me laugh really hard on stage and I can't hold it, or vice versa. If I'm making them laugh really hard and they can't hold it. Sometimes like you'll get some really good quotes from an improv show.
Nice.
that make you laugh pretty hard. And is there anything that you guys do? I know the host comes out, for theater sports at least, comes out and warms the crowd up a little bit. Is there anything that you guys do backstage to warm each other up, or like get a theme together for the night? Like, is anything like that? Or is it you come out on the stage, you get warm, you're pretty cold, you do that one act to warm you up, and then it's into it? Or is there anything else?
No, we don't really do anything backstage. Honestly, we talk, hang out. If there is something different about the show or some different theme or something that the host wants to throw at you, then they'll sometimes tell you backstage, or sometimes they'll just make it a surprise and do it on stage. But usually, yeah, when we warm up in the beginning of the show, that is generally our warm up of the night. But then, sometimes I'll do 3 shows in a night.
Right.
And by the end of the night, you're not warm anymore. You're fried.
Oh.
You're generally a little fried. 3 full shows can take it out of you.
Yeah, I imagine it kind of stretches your abilities a little bit once you're doing 3 consecutives.
Well, you don't think about how much your brain is working out when you're doing that kind of thing. You're constantly listening to every word, and ideally, and replying and using physical energy, but your brain gets really, really tired some nights, especially if you go into one of those nights tired, or maybe you're a little hungover, or maybe you haven't slept much the night before. By the 3rd show, like, you're so fried. You can't think clearly.
That's crazy. Well, I don't have anything else I want to bring up. Andrew, if you want to plug anything at all, you want to plug your YouTube channel, you want to plug Vancouver Theatre Sports League, you want to plug Michelle's one more time, just throw it down. let anyone know? And
Yeah. You nailed all of those.
all right, cool.
All right, we'll wrap it up right here.
Check those out. I perform at Theatre Sports like 3 or 4 nights a week, and Michelle's is definitely like the biggest thing I'm working on. I'm very excited about that. Michelle's a Canadian soap opera on YouTube, and you can always check out Andrew Barber on YouTube.
Nice. Well, thanks again, Andrew. I appreciate it. This was fun, man.
Yeah, thanks. I had fun, guys.
Thanks for coming on for episode 69. And
69.
yeah, sorry we disappointed our audience by not dropping more sexual jokes. in
Yeah.
there.
Well, I mean, the title will
Yeah,
have
that's
69 in it. That's enough.
That's more than enough. But yeah, you can check us out on SoundCloud, our website, wonderboys.ca, iTunes, Google Play Music, not Spotify because they're still
Spotify, man.
They're still stuck up and they don't like it.
Yeah, they just don't accept that shit.
No, we can kick them in the teeth. But feel free, send us a like on Facebook. We have Instagram and Twitter as well. You can check us out there. But thank you again, Barb. I keep wanting to call you Barber because I have a friend whose name is Graham Barber, and we always just call him Barber.
Everyone calls me Barber.
There we go. Yeah.
No one really calls me Andrew.
Oh,
No.
So it was creepy when I was calling you Andrew.
No, I don't even think of it.
Oh,
I don't even think about it. But everyone does call me Barber eventually.
yeah. I think I was just like I kept saying,
Point
"Oh, it's
you
not
need to
Barber.
reach-
His name
need
is
to
Andrew."
earn that privilege.
I know. I'm
because-
going to stay with Andrew. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Doesn't matter to me, man.
Thanks again, Barber. Appreciate it.
Who's got the tastiest food in town? Michelle. The charming, classiest dames around.
Michelle and her bells.
That's right, you know.
The food is cheap if value's on your mind. It's hot in price to sell.
The most delicious place
Is here in Hope, BC. Michelle's.
Come to mama.